수요일날 오후 그 5시가 되고 있습니다. 시간 되면 오늘 저는 청평 갔다 와서 점심을 늦게 먹고 늘어지게 한숨 자고 제일 지금 에너지가 좋은 상태에서 약 많으면 2시간 적으면 1시간 반 정도 내일 유튜브에 올릴 제 가장 중요한 다양한 책을 최대한 에너지를 아낀 상태로 그러면 그를 시간 한번 읽도록 하겠습니다. Spotlight on the USA. The American people. The United States has the third largest population in the world, after China and India. In 1990, population in the United States passed the 250 million mark. Who are the American people? The most distinctive characteristic of the United States is its people. As 19th century poet Walt Whitman said, the United States is not merely a nation, but a nation of nations. People from around the world have come to the United States and influenced its history and culture. New England. New England. New England is highly industrial, but it also has many fields, woods, and small towns. New England is the part of the United States that is most like Old England. It is also the most well-defined region of the United States. Americans might disagree over exactly which states are part of the South, but for everyone, New England includes 6 states: Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. The longevity paradox: how to die young at a ripe old age. The aging myth. Chapter 1: The ancient genes control your fate. It is sad but true. If you eat too much of anything sweet, your gut bodies will starve to death, and your bad bugs will live long and prosper and multiply. Even fructose, the sugar in fruit, has been shown to be a mitochondrial poison. There goes the neighborhood. This may all sound pretty bleak, but rest assured, it is possible to undo the damage these bad guys have wreaked on your inner condo association and get your property back to its useful, gleaming state. But before we do that, it's time to learn how to keep the bad guys where they are belonging. Who killed the creativity? Part 1. Who killed the creativity? Investigating the crime scene. Therefore, creativity is vitally important for individual and organizational survival. Perhaps even more important, creative thinking will help us save the world because it enables us as a species to dream, to envisage a better future, and to implement this vision. Is creative death imminent? The vital statistics. Research into the decline of creativity has led to some startling conclusions. In a sample of 1,500 children aged 3 to 5, 98% ranked as genius in divergent thinking. In children aged 8 to 10, the figure fell to just 32%. Then by age 13 to 15, it had declined further to a mere 10%. In other words, children become less creative as they grow older. The mystery method. The mystery behind the Casanova. Being shy just means that you are scared to interact with other people. If you feel lonely, if you feel bad, those the emotions exist for a purpose to motivate you to improve your chances of survival and the replication. You do that by aligning with other human beings who have S and R value. You are designed for social dynamic interaction. Your brain is hardwired for you to be a social robot. Rooted in evolutionary behavioral psychology, the mystery method will help you align with your brain's design and work to break free of your shyness, improving your life dramatically. From stress to success in just 31 days. Acted on top priorities. It was Mary Kay, Ashab Mary Kay Cosmetics, who built an international company by simply asking herself every day, what are the highest priority action steps I can do today that will help me fulfill my life's work? She simply wrote them down daily. And most important, she developed the habit and the discipline of following through on them. Practical action step. Keep yourself on track. Put your written list in front of you or in a place where it's easily seen so that it's constantly reminding you of your priorities throughout the day. Affirmation. I'm disciplined and I focus on my top priorities. Therefore, I am successful. Now, write your own affirmation in your journal or on a separate piece of paper. 10-minute toughness. Personal greatest moment in sport. Beating University of Richmond to qualify for a conference tournament. A fridge frame celebrating in the locker room after the game. Part 3. Next game. Next regular season game. Pay attention to being extremely vocal with my teammate, calling defense and calling for the ball. Men, women, and the relationships. Making peace with the opposite sex. 1. The art of loving an alien being. People are different. How we are different. The study of morphology. The study of morphology divides people into 3 body types that are associated with 3 major psychological differences: action-oriented, feeling-oriented, and mind-oriented. You are not listening. What you are missing and why it matters. I know what you are going to say. Assumption as earplugs. Staying in touch or keeping up with someone is nothing more than listening to what's on that person's mind. The frequency with which you check in determining the strength and the longevity of the relationship. It's all too easy to get complacent about how well you know those closest to you, just as it's hard not to make the assumption about strangers based on stereotypes, particularly when reinforced by that person's own overt social signaling. But listening keeps you from falling into those traps. Listening will overturn your expectation. Every Monday matters. How to kick your week off with passion, purpose, and positivity. About the author. Over the past 10 years, he has traveled the country sharing his unique story and insight on finding purpose. His life-changing message focus on sustained personal and social change that happens by stepping outside of ourselves, by serving and connecting with one another. The motivation myth, how high achievers really set themselves up to win. Chapter 1, Motivation is not the spark. You don't need other people to support you. Say you have a huge goal you want to accomplish, a massive, audacious, incredibly challenging, and ultimately worthwhile goal. You think about that goal, dream about that goal, obsess about that goal, and talk about it with your friends and family. That last part can sometimes be a big mistake. Granted, seeking support makes sense at a surface level. Most people assume they should talk about their dreams and goals in order to receive encouragement. And even if positive reinforcement doesn't work, what about negative reinforcement and that extra jolt of motivation you'll undoubtedly receive from wanting to follow through on a public statement of intent? Surely that will keep you going when times get tough, at times inevitably do. Heal your body, the mental cause for physical illness, and the metaphysical way to overcome them. Chart of apex of spinal misalignment areas. Blood supply to the head, pituitary gland, pituitary gland, scalp, bones of the face, brain, inner and middle ear, sympathetic nervous system. Doing work that you love, discovering your purpose, and realizing your dreams. Choose your tactics. You always have choices. You are in charge. Are you ready for your perfect job? Be clear and own your power. Most of us hate to look for work, period. We want the great job to knock on your front door and say, I am here. I'm just the one you want. I will make you very successful. You won't have to worry about a thing, and you can live happily ever after. It's the job charming fantasy again. Write a bio. Notice the brochures you receive, for example, of bios. Ask yourself which ones you like. Read the book Jackie's too. A copy of a bio I use is included at the back of this book as an example. The important part to remember is to keep it as conversational as possible. even if you are at the chairman level. Again, the reason we read bios is that they are easy, accessible, and user-friendly. Keep it simple. Chapter 2. What is your why? How to build self-discipline. The most basic definition of self-discipline is the ability to control your urges in order to meet your long-term goals. The proper way to visualize. How should you visualize your goals to become more disciplined then? You envision in little details each action you need to take in order to achieve your goals. If your goal is to become a healthy, fit, and strong person, you envision lifting the weight and the sweat trickling down your forehead. In other words, you train your mind to prepare yourself for the challenges you are undoubtedly going to meet in the real world. The more open you picture all the necessary steps you need to take to achieve your goal, the easier it will be to make them an inherent, non-negotiable part of your life. When you switch your mind from event-oriented to process-oriented, magic will happen. Be selective in your life. Social media marketing, latest tips and trends. Hyper conversion rate and sales numbers. You can easily convert your followers into potential leads with the help of Instagram. How? You simply need to add a contact button or shop now or learn more button to your Instagram profile, and you are done. You can also add your contact number, business hours, and location details. If you have a website already, you can even choose to drive traffic directly into your website. Think your way to wealth. Chapter 3. Attractive personality. The 7 negative emotions are fear. There are 7 different forms of fear, which we shall discuss later. Jealousy, hatred and envy, revenge and malice, greed, superstition and distrust, anger. Now for the 7 positive emotions, which are love, sex, hope, faith, desire, optimism, loyalty. In what way has the Creator given man control over this grand score for the symphony of life, Mr. Carnegie? By giving man control over his powers of thought. The only thing the individual has to do is to take charge of his own mind and exercise this control. That is something he cannot neglect or avoid without condemning his entire life to the stray winds of chance. The retirement challenge. Your mindset doesn't matter. Your mindset matters. What is mindset anyway? It is the attitudes and the belief you hold. It is not all the beliefs and the attitudes you have, just the one that help you sort out what is happening in your life and orient you as you handle the situation you encounter. 누가 있겠냐? 커런트가 없네. What's your mindset about retirement? Do you look at retirement with euphoria or a sense of doom and gloom? The euphoric view. As we approach retirement, most of us are ready to say goodbye to the hectic pace and all the stress that goes with most of the careers. We are ready to downshift a bit and are excited about enjoying our much-earned vacation. The retirement picture we create in our minds is often the Hollywood version with lots of excitement but not much clarity. It's filled with images of things we want to do, travel, golf, tennis, boating, or anything else we have dreamed of doing. And for many of us, that is just how retirement starts. There really is a retirement honeymoon, and it feels pretty euphoric. Just like any good story, it will probably take a few drafts before you get it right. Put it aside for a day, and when you go back to it, try to embellish it more. You'll know when you have it right. 100 things successful people do. Little exercise for successful living. Ask for help. Anyone who takes himself too seriously always runs the risk of looking ridiculous. Anyone who can consistently laugh at himself does not. If you aim to be perfect, you'll only end up disappointed. Put it into action. Find your blind spot. Find your blind spot. Think about the following question. Have you ever stubbornly held on to a view or opinion, refusing to explore if you might actually have been wrong? You need a gesture. Uncovering blind spot can be difficult. Learn to laugh at yourself. Gesture. You need a gesture. The 21 Success Secrets of Self-Made Millionaires. Success 7 Secret. Dedicate yourself to lifelong learning. Continuous learning is the minimum requirement for success in any field. You have a virtually unlimited capacity to learn and improve in your chosen field. You have more brains, ability, and intelligence than you could ever use if you were to work on developing yourself for the rest of your life. You are smarter than you can even imagine. There is no obstacle that you cannot overcome, no problem you cannot solve, and no goal you cannot achieve by applying the power of your mind to your situation. When your mind is like a muscle, it develops only with use. Just as you have to strain your physical muscle to build the dam, you have to work your mental muscles to build your mind as well. The good news is that the more you learn, the more you can learn. Just like the more you play a sport, the better you get at that sport. At the sport, the more you dedicate yourself to lifelong learning, the more you dedicate yourself to life learning, the easier it is for you to learn even more. Make a decision today to become a lifelong learner. You'll be amazed at the impact that it has in your career. Lifelong learning can be a major factor in your becoming a self-made millionaire. The good life, the good life. In pursuit of something bigger, something bigger. This has been a mutually life-enhancing project. We, the generations of Harvard staff members, have been enlivened by our connection to the participants. Over the years, these relationships formed a kind of invisible community. Our participants' dedication to the study has been humbling. Making a family with Hoan has been the best project of my life, and I look forward to navigating together whatever the rest of life has to offer. '50 Successful Harvard Application Essay. His name was Willie. His name was Willie, riding on slick, polished wheels. It was a 3-foot, 3-inch high marvel of technology. Its existence and purpose formed a unique paradox, an ordinary object enabling its passengers to accomplish extraordinary things. I never thought that my 7 months constrained to such a wonder could expand and change my outlook of life so drastically. Then again, I never thought I'd be bound to a wheelchair. Commentary. Most college applicants probably have not experienced anything as close to imminent death as the situation portrayed in this essay. The writer's passage on attempting to maintain her past lifestyle serves as an effective vehicle for portraying her resolve in the face of adversity. While this essay stands out for its uniquely harrowing experience, the mission officers will remember essays not for the size of the obstacle, but for the applicant's experience in overcoming the obstacles. Aging well. Appendices. The men came from families that were relatively stable. By the age of 19, only 14% had lost a parent by death, and only 7% had lost a parent through divorce. These figures, however, did not differ appreciably from the American middle class of that era. Zinc diet and exercise are the keys to a long, healthy life. Think again. This groundbreaking book is a perfect place to begin exploring how best to grow old. Among the topics Dr. V explores the importance of marriage and the impact of divorce, the role of play and creative activity, the effects of tobacco, alcohol, and other mood elevators, the benefits of forming new friendships and new social networks, the importance of intellectual curiosity and lifelong learning. Assessment of Childhood Skills, Chapter 1. Public speaking skills. Engage your audience right from your very first word. Diagnosing and treating common affliction. Chapter 3. Overcoming performance and anxiety. In this chapter, remaining loose and reducing tension, diagnosing and remedying your slouch, fighting your body with your body, overcoming performance anxiety. If performance anxiety is your problem, I want you to do something for yourself. It's the first thing I ask of anyone who comes into my office. Ready? Here goes. Video yourself presenting a speech for 2 minutes. After that 2-minute test, I put my client through a little bit of physical activity just to get the limber and the vocal warm up. Tackle common vocal problems like the vocal fry, unspeak, upspeak, nasal voice, breathiness, devoicing, pushing and dropping. 에너지가 Women's the Body, a manual for life, lifestyles, fitness. The physical woman. A woman's body. Shape and the size of women's bodies vary tremendously. Whatever her build, a woman's body falls into one of three body types. Joint. Rigid bones meet at joint which allow flexible movement where needed. Fixed joint present in the skull are firmly secured. Cartilage, enormous joint like those in the pelvis provide some elastic movement. Synovial joint are freely movable. What does it mean to be well educated? What does it mean to be well educated? The assessment in such a school are based on meaningful standards of excellence, standards that may collectively offer the best answer to our original question simply because to meet those criteria is as good a way as any to show that one is well educated. Notwithstanding the claims of traditionalists eager to oppose and then dismiss, a touch-feely caricature of progressive education. A substantial body of evidence exists to support the effectiveness of each of those components, as well as the benefits of using them in combination. Surrounded by idiots. Chapter 3, An Introduction to the System. At the end of this book, you will find a description of the background to how the DISC system emerged. As you can see, there are four main categories of behavior types, each of which is associated with a color. About 80% of all people have a combination of two colors that dominate their behavior. Compliant, dominant, stable, inspiring, rapid reaction, calm reaction, tendency to avoid involvement, direct action. hip-hop one you hear. A delicious, insightful page turner. 2. I thought finding my way around Gray Hill would be easy compared to driving around D.C. How naive I'd been. How naive I'd been. The minute you leave Gray Hill proper, everything looks the same, idyllic, with rolling pastures, crisscrossed by old stone fences. The purple-gray peaks of the Blue Ridge Mountain framing the view, but also distracting for that very region, and it's impossible to navigate. Crisscross. Masterful coaching. Chapter 17. Coaching Conversation 10. Make great decision and judgment calls. Page of breakthrough. This conversation takes place typically in the momentum page of breakthrough, or whenever an executive is faced with an issue and dilemma that need a decision. Whether you are talking about presidents of nations, CEOs of corporations, major league coaches, or wartime generals, leaders are remembered for their best and worst decision and judgment calls. The unintended consequences of seemingly unimportant decisions are often not obvious. Interdisciplinarity. Women's Studies, Chapter 1. Global women. Women's studies have received various forms of support around the world. It also aims to use such initiative as a tool for challenging unequal gender relations and for empowering the women. Inspiration for a life worth living. Sing your songs. Others may try to influence you to sing their song rather than yours. If you do, you'll become resentful and lose your voice. To regain it, get back in touch with your truth and act on it. Never deny your expression for others. You can harmonize and support someone else, but don't do it at the expense of your own happiness. Authentic self-expression brings healing, release, and the relief. Remember your song, and you'll become magnetic and compelling. You'll also find peace within yourself. Keep it simple. unclutter your mind to uncomplicate your life. I would tell the 17-year-olds to be proud of who you are. Don't try to change yourself for others. Be you. We haven't seen that. Whatever happens is the normal. Many years ago, I worked with a man who gave me some of the most valuable advice I've ever heard. We were working together in a business that was full of ups and downs and having to deal with the unexpected. Whatever happens is normal. Positive thinking. Chapter 2. Is your glass half full or half empty? To everyone is given the key to heaven. The same key opens the gates of hell. Is your glass half full or half empty? Positive proverbs. If you have decided that you are no longer going to repeat those negative proverbs and sayings, you may want to replace them with more positive ones. It's interesting to note that despite the different kind of social communication that we have today, ancient proverbs and sayings are still widely used in all countries of the world. Failure is the mother of success. Japanese proverb: when the sun rises, it rises for everyone. Cuban proverb: diligence is the mother of good luck. The glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time you fall. Since the house is on fire, let us warm ourselves. Rules of the game. Day 1. Day 1. Mission 1. Evaluate yourself. Fitness program require you to weigh in on the first day. Financial plans ask for a list of your assets and debts. So to revamp your social life, you'll need to make a social assessment of yourself. Your first mission is to write answers to the following question. Don't worry about what anyone else will think of your answer. Your goal is to be as honest with yourself as possible. Write the 1 or 2 sentences describing how you believe other people currently perceive you. Write 1 or 2 sentences describing how you'd like to be perceived by others. List 3 of your behaviors or characteristics you'd like to change. List 3 new behaviors or characteristic you'd like to adopt. Mission 2. The read and destroy. Mission 3. Operation Small Talk. Day 1 briefing. The chains that bind. Limited belief. People are looking at me, judging me, or making fun of me. Reality. This is half right. People may notice you, but they are not necessarily judging you. Most of them are too busy worrying about what other people are thinking of them. Once you realize that most people are just like you and that they are actually seeking your approval, you'll start to become socially fearless. Besides, most bystanders who see you approach a girl or a group assume that you know the people, so act like you do. Not only will it ease your worries about what everyone else is thinking, but it'll also make your approach more effective. Winners always quit. Chapter 2. Quit getting comfortable and explore the edge. If we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed carries with it. The seed of unequal or greater benefit. In order to grow in wisdom and spirit, we need to challenge our assumption now and then. Even if today's challenge doesn't compel us to change those assumptions or lead us to a better answer, tomorrow's might and the simple act of challenging ourselves brings growth. The pitfalls of comfort. Comfort certainly has its advantage. Our comfy chair in the living room, a comfortable routine at work, a comfortable relationship with all the advantage of comfort. Here are some things you should know about the comfort zone before you explore the edge. The comfort zone is where most of life is played. It is certainly where most of sports is played. Consider a football field. 90% of the game is played between the 20-yard lines. That's why they call anything outside that area the red zone. It's where the difference in the game is made. It's okay to feel good and to play well inside the comfort zone before you explore the edge and go for the score. But staying in the comfort zone too long can get boring. We get soft and unfocused. We don't have to be sharp. If we make our comfort zone as big as our life, we not only lose our edge, we can even lose sight of the edge. We must ignite our own sense of adventure if we want to see what the world has to offer us and what we have to offer the world. It's pretty safe in the comfort zone. We know the boundaries, the landscape, and the other comfortable players in the comfort zone. There is little or no risk of misstep here, or there is not very costly. But like the football team that's trapped between the 20-yard lines, we cannot win in the comfort zone because the risk is small. So is the reward. Learning and growth occur when we are uncomfortable. Think of the defining moments of learning and growth in your life. Were you hanging out in your comfort zone? No, you were hanging over the edge. If you put yourself in a position where you have to stretch outside your comfort zone, then you are forced to expand your consciousness. The end of Big, how the internet makes David the new Goliath. Big news. Unfinished business. During the Occupy movement's heyday, he documented more than 69 journalists who had been arrested in 12 cities around the United States. Heyday. Mastering public speaking. Using presentational aids. The importance of using presentational aids. A space shuttle exploding in a cloudless azure sky. Types of presentational aids. Projection of presentational aids. The personal MBA, master the art of business. Take maximum advantage of your upcycle, and rest on your down cycle, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish in a day. The 5 a.m. miracle. Time each day that you will get to home base at 0. Chapter 9. Tracking bold progress. How to monitor, measure, and manage your ambitious life. Don't get me wrong, his classes were not easy, but the expectations were crystal clear. How to talk to anyone. Their knowledge also make them valuable agent for the party giver. The power of positive attitudes, discovering the key to success. Their disagreement not only provide you with new ideas, but give you insight into the way they approach problems that will help you work more effectively with them. Positive attitudes encourage improved performance. Not only does attitudes affect the moral, self-esteem, and behavior, it directly impacts the bottom line. What matters now. When we finally connected by phone, I learned that Drew had helped to pioneer a radical new management model during the tenure as St. Andrew, one that started from the pews rather than the pulpit, and radiated outwards rather than downwards. Wow, I thought, if this is possible in an institution that's been around for half a millennium, maybe we really can bridge the chasm between organization and the individual. How to fail at almost everything and still win big. Kind of the story of my life. At least one voice expert believed that my fake voice, with its artificially low tone, was the cause of my later voice problems with spasmodic dysphonia. I don't know what to be that to be true, but it's worth the mentioning. The achievement habit. Stop wishing, start doing, and take command of your life. Always certain, often wrong. Usually we think about the empathy in terms of getting to know strangers or outside groups so we can understand them better and thus assist them with some of their needs. People by you, the real secret to one marriage most in business. Failure by your support staff to deliver on commitment a blow to the foundation of trust you have with your clients. It is your commitment to plan and organize around strategic objectives. It is your self-discipline to communicate and follow up effectively. It is your work to build and maintain relationships that make them want to help you. And with the respect and the trust you have developed through the relationship you built along the way, you'll find that leveraging your corporate resources is a powerful way to build trust and overcome the status quo. Living successfully with screwed up people. I'm willing to talk about their option, but I won't allow you to insult me. Saying I care about you and I'm sorry keep difference from becoming irreconcilable. Wow. One of these days is none of these days. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Thinking is not doing. The past is the worst predictor. The past is the worst predictor of the future. There is always a better way. Successful people are those good at failure. Far few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Life is very short, and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friends. Throughout history, men and women who have left a real mark on the societies have believed that Their lives had a special meaning. The Everest Principle, how to achieve the summit of your life. It's helpful to take a moment to figure out why you got tripped up. $1 million habits. Nonetheless, we are continually tempted to act impulsively, and impulsive action is based on emotion rather than intellect or common sense. Immunity not granted. In the marketplace, as untold, millions have discovered the consequence of acting impulsively by joining the action of the crowd can be catastrophic, untold. Better, simpler strategy, a value-based guide to exceptional performance. But would you invest in the brand strengths of the Ford Focus or the Chevrolet Impala? Better small talk. Talk to anyone. Avoid awkwardness. Generate deep conversation and make real friends. But one day he gets the opportunity to join a mission to distant moon Pandora. The book of question. You are leading 100 people whose lives are in danger, and you must pick one of two paths. One will save 95 people, but 5 will die. The other has an even chance of saving everyone, but if it fails, everyone will die. Which would you choose? Talk less and say more. The 3 habits to influence others and make things happen. What did our producer do? She had my co-host record the payment portion of the program, changing it from full price to 3 easy payments. Bingo! Magically, resistance dropped, and the product started selling. Think narrow and deep. American Roots. Readings on U.S. cultural history. It resulted in the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibited segregation in public places, as well as discrimination in education and employment. The other 90%, how to unlock your vast untapped potential for leadership and life. Make adversity your ally. There is a counter intuitive view. When they fall, they are falling forward in life, not actually downward. This is because each time you learn something new from a fall, it increases your ability to climb different and higher routes tomorrow. Build a strong partnership. Today's economy is forcing many organizations, both big and small, to consider acquisition or mergers. 12. And help, leveraging the emotional ingredients necessary for business success. It was still more efficient than the alternative. You can heal your life. I communicated with ease and with joy. Only right action is taking place in my life. I release the old. I release the old. I release the old and welcome the new. 오, 말이 나왔는데. A good night to the sleep. Treatment for insomnia, sleep apnea, restless legs, and other sleep disorders. RBD can have devastating effects on the own relationship. Wives have come to my office reporting they are afraid to sleep in the same room with their husbands because they are worried about getting hurt. You are right from your side. I am right from mine. Though don't sweat the affirmation. I maintain a calm, peaceful center at all times, and the compassion naturally flows from this source. Smart Talk, the public speaker's guide to success in every situation. I remember you mentioned this was something that you were interested in doing. Age Wave. The Saks Fifth Avenue store in Palm Springs, California, a town populated mostly by adults, nevertheless does a brisk business in children's toys and clothes. The children's section of the store is referred to by some as the grandmother's boutique. What everybody is the same. The king is free to look at anyone he wants, but all subjects face the king, even as they back out of a room. Relaxed into wealth, how to get more by doing less. Who knows, you may even have a yogi show up in your living room to remind you. Trust thyself, every heart vibrate to that iron string. Geography, United States of America. Glossary of geographical terms. The Battle of Trenton took place in western New Jersey on the Atlantic coastal plain. The coastal plain is a gently rolling lowlands. Its eastern regions are covered with pine forest and salted marshes. The Delaware River flows through the western portion of the coastal plain. Battles of the Revolutionary War. 65 successful Harvard Business School application essay. Do not dwell, do not dwell. Do not dwell on the disappointment, although describe it vividly, but rather focus on how you solve the problem and the one you learned. The Power of One More, the ultimate guide to happiness and success. Tom simply replied, the next one. Tom Brady set the standard. Set the standard as one more multiplier by bringing equanimity and an unmatched work ethic, smart, and an uncompromising expectation of others. He's been quoted thousands of times throughout his career. For my money, the one quote that sums up who Tom Brady is and what he brings to his team is what he said when someone once asked him which Super Bowl ring was his favorite. Tom simply said, the next one. Surviving the storm. Thus the cost associated with these people entering the workforce were part of what caused the inflation. Mood cure. Experience the power of nutritional therapy. Once you get to sleep, you should stay asleep through the night without bathroom trips. Leading with the emotional intelligence. People don't have the benefit of seeing our thinking process. What we focused in on, what we discounted, or what building blocks we crafted to support our thought and decision. Ask more. The power of question to open doors, uncover solution, and spark the change. The discipline of scientific questioning, however, moves us toward a more methodical form of inquiry, inviting more data and better measurement into the question we ask and the answer we get. Tools of titans. The tactics, routines, and habits of billionaires, icons, and world-class performers. Both of these things tend to decrease the number of real haters who came out of the woodwork. Number 4, if you respond, don't over-apologize. There are times to apologize when you truly screw up. Or speak too soon, but more often than not, acknowledgement is all that's required. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, learn. Life's greatest lessons are gained from our losses. That's a day with a lot of problems. Don't do this. The key to overcoming problems and learning from them is to approach them the right way. Speak to the wind. Top speakers. Top speakers use a series of rhetorical devices and other methods that have been developed and used on the stage or in movies for many years. How the body works. Keep your eye on the ball. Watch your friend throw a tennis ball up and catch it. You can win. You can win. Don't criticize and complain. When I talk about criticism, I refer to negative criticism. When a person is criticized, he becomes defensive. Rest. Why you get more done when you work less? As an athlete, he writes, stopping practicing at the right moment is a vital form of self-discipline, every bit as important as putting the hours in and giving it your all. Easy way to stop the smoking. The challenge for these types of smoker is to see through the brainwashing. Brainwashing of the cigarette as an all-purpose stress reliever, stimulant, relaxant, reward, comforter, friend, and to see it for what it really is, a drug delivery device, much like the heroin addict hypodermic syringe. Exploration in American culture, readings for critical thinking, writing, and the discussion. It is clear that we must invent politics of inclusion for all if American society is to cohere morally, socially, and politically. Cohere. What's your poo telling you? The insoluble fiber contained in altered bran but today with most people you must prove your trustworthiness first. The top 10 distinction between millionaires and the middle class. Not all millionaires are generous, but the happy ones are. Civility in America. The chairs Jobs observed were Georgie Nakashima originals, and they then offered a brief account of the Japanese American woodworker's life. Motivate like a CEO. Communicate your strategic vision and inspire people to act. Use technology to your advantage. Technology gives us the opportunity to get things done and to communicate efficiently. Smarter growth. How to grow your people to grow your company. The short answer was nowhere. It doesn't exist. It occurred to Nelson that artists within his faith tradition needed such a place to gather expression, persevere them, and celebrate both the artwork and the broad culture it reflects to anchor the culture's identity. How to read wisdom from the world's greatest CEOs, founders, and game changers. How do you deal with the amount of money they are getting and what they do with it? What matters? What matters now? Market versus uh, higher hierarchies. That's why economists have long celebrated the ability of a market to coordinate human activity with little or no top-down control. Your best year yet. Am I going to do this? Make luck happen. Create an effective, consistently lucky person who practice leadership through structured problem solving. The actions of the protesters were a legitimate exercise of free speech in response to the lies they had been told. I celebrated myself and sing myself. Sports psychology for dummies. Bounce back from adversity. Talk to yourself in a ridiculous voice. For example, say, "You can do this," in high-pitched voice. The brain, the story of you. At first, John reported the stimulation had no effect. Your next 5 moves master the art of business strategy. Their logic is simple. Who better than coaches who have observed biz genius up close to lead a team of their own? Indus Valley civilization, about 4,500 years ago, one of the greatest ancient civilizations developed along the banks of the Indus River in the western Punjab. Biology. Interactive online edition. Tentative for a question about a structure or process that has a complex name. Write down the name and review its meaning before answering the question. Standardized test prep using science graphics. Use the diagram to answer the following question. On AI, analytics, and new machine age. What are business using drones for right now? 100 ways to motivate yourself. It is almost impossible to enjoy a life of self-motivation when you are worried about the money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Now, looking at charity, does your teenager want to redirect the charitable givings to a different organization? The secret language of business. How to read anyone in 3 seconds or less. Decipher hidden meanings. This is the glue that holds cultures together because it ensures each generation will grow up to participate and keep the culture alive. In time passing, the same sense of social responsibility on to their own offspring. Prosper. Create a life you really want. Q, one of our best certified coaches, was assigned to assist Rebecca. What is your what? Discover the one amazing thing you are born to do. Things I hated doing in audible distaste. When you are ready, please order your list from most to least distasteful. The next step is to put the activities you've identified in order from most to least distasteful. Born reading. You can also create a customized digital audiobook reading for your child with a story sticker on the app. The power presenter, masters of the game. Tell them to go out there with all they got and win just one for the keeper, the greater communicator. Speak with competence, overcome self-doubt, communicate clearly, and inspire your audience. Here's how to use system. As with the previous ones, buy some time and quickly ask yourself two questions. First, what is the point I want to convey? The power of the affirmation. Instead, try injecting some of the following into your affirmation. Passion. Feelings of passion are incredibly uplifting and motivating, and can give a strong boost to your affirmation, helping them sink into your mind much faster. Communication for international business. The secret of excellent interpersonal skills. Trust in the workplace often has to be earned. Wolf Pack. Revolutions are won with collective action. Reinvention. How to make the rest of your life the best of your life. How do you get the most out of yourself? What you are about to learn in this final chapter on reinvention can change your life. 13 Secrets of World-Class Achievers. Alan wrote, "You are today where your thoughts take you. You'll be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. You choose where your thoughts are taking you." Everyday greatness. He was acutely aware of the Nazis' desire to prove Aryan superiority, especially over blacks. Broke the millennial. Stop scraping by and get your financial life together. It is a lot like planting a seed and waiting for the tree to grow. Tell me why. Why do birds sing? Later on, people crossed from Siberia into Alaska, passing over land bridges that had since disappeared. 와, 1시간 반을 했네.